Shalom Yeladim, it's Rebekah and Emerald from Beck's Live, and we were just reading the Passover Parent. Now, like I said, we'll be reading Max's for questions, but make sure you also go check out our matzah baking challenge and the Mariah story, a Passover version, and they're both so good. There's Pharaoh, Moses, everybody, but in ours it's only Pharaoh and Moses. So this is Max's 4 Questions by Bonnie Bader and illustrated by Brian Hendrick. Max Morris lived in a 4-story house. He was one of the 4 brothers and 4 dogs, 4 parakeets, and 4 goldfish. Max was the youngest in his family. He was even younger than the goldfish. Oh my God, younger than a goldfish? It's possible though. It was always very busy in Max's house. Very busy and very noisy. Today was especially busy at Max's house, and Max was very curious. "What is everybody doing?" he asked. No one answered him. "Why are you setting the table?" Max asked again in a louder voice. No one answered him. "I said, what's going on?" Max yelled. This time Max's mother answered. "We're getting ready for the Passover Seder," she told him. Max looked at her and didn't say anything. "Passover is when we remember the Jewish people's exodus from Egypt," Max's mother said. "Exodus," Max asked. "What in the world are you talking about, Mom?" "During the Seder, we will tell the story about how the Jews fled Egypt after being slaves for many years," she replied. But Max was about to ask another question, but his mother stopped him. "I'm sorry, honey, but I really don't have time for any more questions right now. Please put the napkins on the table." So, Yeladim, what do you do for your Seder? Do you have a special tradition? I do.
What's your special tradition, Rebekah?
Our special tradition is we always have the same we always have had the same family over. Sadly, they moved, so we can't do that anymore. But that was our tradition. And I said in the Passover Parent, I would show you the Haggadah. Well, we're gonna be showing you guys the Haggadah in Max's 4 Questions.
Okay.
And sorry if you didn't hear that in the Passover Parent. Finally, all the plates were on the table. All the silverware was in its place. All the napkins were folded, and all the wine glasses were out. The doorbell rang. Ding! "I'll get it," Max shouted. But Max's brother Mark beat him to the door. In walked Max's 4 aunts. Max got 4 pinches on his cheek. In walked Max's 4 uncles. Max got 4 pats on his head. In ran Max's 4 cousins. Max was nearly knocked over 4 times. Soon the family was seated around the table. "What do we do now?" Max asked. No one answered him. Max looked around. Everyone had opened up their books called Haggadahs. Everyone was quiet. Max waited. "What do we do now?" Max asked in a louder voice. Instead of answering him, Max's father began to read from the Haggadah. First, he said the Kiddush, which is the blessing over the wine. Everyone drank a glass of wine. Max drank a glass of grape juice. "Can I have some more?" Max asked. "Yes," Uncle Dave said. "Today, everyone will drink 4 glasses of wine or juice." The Seder continued. Everyone washed their hands, and then parsley was passed around the table. Max washed as his family said a prayer and dipped the parsley into salt water. After that, Max's dad lifted up a plate of matzahs. "What are you doing?" Max asked. But Max's father did not answer. I said, Max spoke up louder. "What are you doing?" "I am breaking one of the matzahs for the afikomen," his dad explained. "Afikomen?" Max asked. "Yes, I will hide the piece of matzah, and later your brothers and cousins will try to find it. Whoever finds it gets a prize." Max smiled. "That sounds like fun." Yeladim, do you think that sounds like fun? Let me know in the comments down below. All of a sudden, Max realized that his entire family was staring at him. Max touched his head. Was something in his hair? Max picked at his teeth. Did he have a piece of parsley stuck in them? It's your turn, Max's brother Mo prompted. Max looked confused. The youngest person asked the 4 questions, Max's dad said. Max looked around. He was the youngest person at the table. Max sat up straight in his chair. Why is this night different from all other nights? He shouted. Max, dear, Aunt Sally said. Why are you shouting? Because it's hard to get people around here to hear me. Max said. Everyone laughed. Well, tonight we are all listening, Max's dad said. Max continued with the first question. On all other nights, we eat either leavened bread or matzah. Why on this night do we eat only matzah? Max stopped and looked around. Go on, Max's mother urged. We will answer all the 4 questions at the end, I promise. On all other nights, we eat all kinds of herbs. Why on this night do we eat bitter herbs? On all other nights, why do we not dip herbs at all? Why on this night do we dip them twice? On all other nights, we eat sitting up. Why on this night do we eat our meals reclining? Now we will answer your questions, Aunt Andrea said. And by doing so, we will learn the story of Passover, Tim added. The matzah reminds us that the Jews were left in slavery in Egypt. They had no time to bake their bread. They were in such a hurry that the dough had no time to rise, Max's dad explained. On their journey, the dough baked the hot sun into a hard crackers called matzah, Max's mom added. Max picked up a piece of matzah. Oh, I see, Max said. This matzah is very flat. We eat the bitter herbs, or maror, to symbolize the bitterness the Jewish people felt when they were slaves in Egypt. Max's brother Mark explains, and during the Seder, each person takes a bite of bitter herbs so they can taste the bitterness, Max's brother Mo continued. And we should always remember that we were slaves in Egypt, Max's dad added. The maror also reminds us of the bitter and cruel way that Pharaoh treated the Jewish people, Uncle Dave said. Max picked up his plate of maror and took a bite. This sure is bitter, he explains. Today we should be happy that we are not slaves. We are free, Max's dad told everyone. Today we dip the bitter herbs into haroset to remind us about how hard the Jewish slaves worked in Egypt. Max's father continued. The chopped apples and nuts looked like the clay the slaves used to build the Pharaoh's cities, as it says in Exodus, Aunt Andrea added. And then we dip again. We dip parsley into salt water. The parsley reminds us that spring is here and new life will grow, Aunt Karen explains. But the salt water has a sadder meaning. It reminds us of the tears and the Jews shed when they were slaves in the land of Egypt, Uncle Josh added. And tonight we eat in a reclining position to relax. So we are no longer slaves. We do not belong to anyone except to ourselves. So tonight we deserve to take care of ourselves, Max's dad said, leaning back in his chair. And now we have answered all of your questions, Max's brother Mark said. But Max did not look happy. What's wrong? His brother Matt added. I have one more question, Max said. But you're only supposed to ask 4, Max's brother Mo said. Well, here's one more, Max announced. When do we eat? Everyone laughed. When we finish the first part of the Seder. We can eat, Max's mom said. Right after we eat the Korah, or the Hillel sandwich, we can eat our meal, Max's dad added. What's that? Max wanted to know. That is when we eat the maror and haroset together with some matzah. Max's mom explained. Before Max knew it, the first part of the Seder was over and the meal was finally ready to be served. Max stood up on his chair and shouted, "I have one more question." This time everyone let him ask. "What's for dessert?" "The afikoman is for dessert," Max's dad explained. "I have hidden it somewhere in the house. Whoever finds it gets a prize." Max, his 3 little brothers, and 4 cousins all ran down from the table. In 2 minutes, Max returned. He had found the afikoman. His father gave him $1 and a book about Passover. "I don't have to ask what we do next," Max announced. "Dessert." So, these are stickers. Beitza is egg. Haroset is chopped apples and nuts. Hazeret is bitter vegetables or celery. So for our haroset, we don't use nuts because I'm allergic. So we only use the chopped apples.
And wine and cinnamon.
Yeah, wine, cinnamon.
And sometimes dates.
Yeah, not nuts at all though because I'm very allergic. So, karpas are parsley, maror are bitter herbs, zaroa is roasted shank bone. And I'll sing Manishana to you guys, and then I'll show you the Haggadah, and then we'll go. Manishana halayla hazeh mikol halelot, mikol halelot, shevachol halelot. Anu olim hametziu matzah, hametzu matzah, halayla hazeh kulo matzah, halayla hazeh kulo matzah, shevachol halelot. Anu olim shari rakot, sha'ari rakot. Halayla hazeh maror, halayla hazeh maror. Shebachol halelot anu matzbilim, afilu pamechat, halayla hazeh shtei pamim, halayla hazeh shtei pamim. Shevachol halelot anu olim bayin yoshbin uvayin misubim, bayin yoshbin uvayin misubim, halayla hazeh kulanu misubim. Now let's go see. I'm gonna go get a Haggadah.
You know what,
Oh
Rebecca?
my God.
Rebecca, why don't you just say goodbye? We don't need to get the Haggadah.
Goodbye, you guys.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.